Okay, so we are back with another video because we're gonna do another question. We were asked, what were we asked? And I'm sorry about the other video.
I'm tired. I've had a long week.
He was watching TV the whole time I was talking. I just reviewed the video.
Do not embarrass me in front of my friends.
They gonna see it. It was like he was just staring off. This subject is how do we deal with arguments in our relationship? I don't know why that's so funny.
Because, I mean,
we are not perfect. I feel like there's no perfect relationship. And we argue just like anybody else argues.
You know, there's a lot of neck rolling, snapping, and who you think you're talking to?
I've never snapped.
Nah, we argue shit. I mean, like everybody else, we're not perfect. Don't get me wrong. Like, we don't have some of the problems other couples have, and we've come a long way.
Yes.
As far as like our arguments or anything like that, because you know, at the beginning, you know, our arguments was intense. Like,
I would say they still are.
They're intense, but they're intense in a different way. Like, in the beginning, it was just like, I'm going to say whatever. Not whatever I can to hurt you, but I'm going to say something to make you shut up. Like, you going to say that? You go, nigga, I know you ain't just say, you know.
I think with a lot of relationships, I'm sorry, baby.
See, it's about to start an argument right now.
That's one thing that in the beginning of our relationship, we had to when we discuss things, if it's something that bothered him or me, try not to talk over one another because you're not letting the person fully finish what they're thinking. And
in the beginning, and we still work on that. But this is the thing with our arguments: we can argue, we can agree to disagree, but we also can argue. And there are lines of arguments. There are rules in arguments. You argue about the subject and the subject at hand. You don't bring old stuff into this. I'm just saying, you don't bring old stuff into it.
You're not talking.
I know you. See, you see what I'm saying?
You like to bring up whatever been bothering you since whenever it's been bothering you, and then we could be talking about why you put A1 sauce on the steak, and you'll be like, "Well, remember when you went to McDonald's and you ain't give me."
Because that's food.
No, it'd be completely different subjects.
But that's
you do
food.
that. That is a rule. It should stay on whatever it is, and I feel like things should be brought up in a timely manner.
But you acting like I don't work on that.
You are. You
okay, because you know I'm not the type of person that every small thing that bothers me, I'm gonna start an argument. I'm not gonna do that because, to be honest, this is doing too much. They just make you sound
it's not an argument, but I think things need to be brought up in a timely manner. I'm the kind of person that if I feel a certain way, I want to let you know that now. There won't be any, okay. But I'm not. Not all the time. I'll do that sometimes just to try to dead things. But, you know, I like to let him know
I'm not confrontational. Listen, I have a lot of sisters. I have a lot of sisters. I have a very strong mom, like, who gets her point across, because you'll never want an argument with her, because what?
And that's another thing.
She cut deep too.
Arguments should not be win or lose.
Yeah, it should be. It shouldn't be hurtful either.
And they should not be a battle of low blows, because I know a couple who just low blow, bam, 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 and at the end of the relationship, both your feelings are hurt. People have said stuff that's gonna be in the back of your head for a while, and it just really affects the relationship in a bad way.
And again,
so don't low blow, even though how bad you wanna.
Again, we're not perfect. We've been through this. We've been through this, and we've talked about it, and we discussed it, and we're over it. So we know kind of the rules of arguments, the rules of engagement. Even with war, you have rules. So there's argumentative rules. You need to, and you know what they are. Mm-hmm. You know what hurts your spouse. If you know your spouse, you know what hurts your spouse. You know what makes your spouse cry, laugh, giggle, sniggle, snicker.
You can put them. You can put them over the edge with something, and you know that. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that, and I think that's something that a lot of women do.
Okay, well, back to my sisters and my mom. Like, I know how, like, I'm not confrontational because I've never won an argument. Like she said, it's not about win or lose, but with, like, siblings, it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? With your mom, it's different. Like, yeah, I really kicked her ass in the argument of a match. You know, 'cause I would try to, I never won. I'm not going to win an argument against a woman, like, at all. First of all, yeah, mine's just, like, way too fast. And, you know, me and we just sit there, I can't wait till I think of some shit. You know what I'm saying? I can't go through that. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But I respect what she has to say, and she respects what I have to say. Even if it's something outrageous, you know what I mean? It's still something that she feels. So if she feel that way, I have no choice but to respect it, because if I feel that way, I would want her to respect that too. So that's it. In all honesty, you know. So she, you know, talk about me to my friends. So put me on YouTube.
Anyway, again, you know what your partner's buttons are, and honestly, let's keep it real. As women, we sometimes go there, and it's been times you don't went there,
but times,
and then guys, I feel like sometimes we are set off as women. Sometimes he can set me off. He can put me in a mind spin where there's no return, and I don't feel that that's any excuse for any behaviors or actions that I portray. However, he knows what he's doing when he says certain things to me and how he says things to me. As women, we feel...
When we cut this off, we're going to argue. We're gonna argue. I want to argue with you so bad right now. You just don't even understand.
Why? See that?
You just set me off.
And then women have a psychology. I'm sorry, a woman don't got ever in her life take a psychology class to know how to go about things. Me, I don't really like to yell. I don't really yell in arguments. I can say what I need to say at a monotone, and that pisses him off. He starts to cuss and yell, and I say,
I can cuss too.
There's no need to cuss and yell.
I'm the best at
cussing. I think that makes him mad that I can keep a reserve and still, have, my valid argument.
Sometimes she yell.
Yeah.
Get in my face, poke me in the face.
Oh, he's poked me in the nose before.
I have not poked you.
I don't even know why you would bring that up on Facebook. I don't know why you would even bring that up on YouTube. Right, so now these people would know that we've had a physical altercation.
We've never had a physical altercation.
He poked me in my nose, and I poked him right back in his. Nah. But my mom was right there.
Her mom was right there. Her mama will tell y'all. I'm gonna get her mama. I'm gonna talk to y'all later about it.
Y'all need to stop.
Because she poked me in the nose.
He poked me in the nose.
I ain't even had no contacts in.
Stop. We're not going. Let's finish the video.
Well, I still love you.
And I love you. Even though you
don't
poked me in the nose.
Just put your hands on me no more.
Well, physical, I think that's just a no-go. I know people who've been through that, and we have never, fortunately, ever went that far with the argument.
We never swabbled or none of that. We never... It's never come down to be physical because, to be honest, like...
He'll leave before I let him get to that point.
I would definitely leave. If I feel like I'm getting too out of hand as far as my words, or even... I've never even thought about putting my hands on her. Like, so I wouldn't let that even cross my mind. If it crosses my mind, then I'm gone. Like... Flat out, there's no discussion about it. There's no ifs, ands, or I'm gonna see how I feel in 30 seconds. If I feel that way, or if I got an inkling that I'm feeling that way, I'm gone, because that's the safest move for me, and that's the safest move for my relationship. Because this is somebody I do want to be with. So why would I put my hands on her? Why would I? And this is another thing. I don't belittle her. If we argue, I don't belittle her. Like, I don't cuss her out, I don't call out her name, I don't do none of that. Like,
he's never called me out my name.
I don't.
We've had some arguments.
We've had arguments. I've never called out her name. I won't do it. I won't do it. I have too much respect for her. Like, I have too much respect for women. Like, I wouldn't do it.
And also with something that I think a lot of women do, don't bring up something just to argue about. Like, if it's not something that, if he's doing something and you're not gonna make him change these actions, you're just bringing it up to gripe about it, to start an argument, just don't say anything. Because if you're not gonna do anything about it, like women whose dudes cheat, he doesn't, but some girls do cheat and they bring it up and they argue. But if you're not gonna actually leave that man or actually do something about what he's doing, don't bring it up. You're just arguing just cause. I don't know. I don't know why, but don't bring up something just cause. And a lot of arguments can happen around small, petty things. A lot of our arguments that become big things are over small things.
Drinking the last of the Kool-Aid.
We ain't never had no argument over who drank the last of the Kool-Aid.
Well, maybe I wanted to argue about that.
You always drink the last of the Kool-Aid.
I'm gonna say
anyway. Anyway, so
Sam, be ready next week.
Anyway, so see, maybe I lose my train of thought. This video is so unorganized. It's just everywhere.
It's just like random thoughts.
Okay, so with I don't even know what I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, a lot of arguments.
Small
things. Something that people need to learn, and it's so critical. It's so critical, and it may even physically hurt at times to just be quiet. So just don't even go there sometimes. And this is something that I found myself doing. But however, I look back on the time that I've done it, and we don't argue in this time. Sometimes you just don't even say it.
Sometimes I bite my tongue, my stomach start growling because I'm just whole inside's mad.
When do you have to bite your tongue?
I bite my tongue sometimes.
Sometimes they could say something that's just a little sideways, or they could leave a cup on the table and you told them time and time. It could be just the smallest stuff. That was just examples, but that could just be the smallest things, and it can make you want to just bite their heads off. But sometimes you just really have to and let it go. And that's men and women. Women, we do things sometimes. We could say something and it may seem like nothing, but it could really be something. And sometimes you just have to just let it go, because unnecessary arguments can lead to a lot bigger problems. And then you have this big argument, or something is said or done that you can't come back from. And that's another thing. In relationships, some things you can't come back from. And that's the truth. You can try to work through a lot of things, but there are some things I feel like you can't come back from. And then once you pass that point, ain't no return. And, or something's going to be constantly in your head, and you just, you're stuck. So hopefully that answered the question of how we deal with arguments. We try to discuss things before it even gets to an argumentative level. Try to let each one get their feelings across, and definitely try to put ourselves in each other's shoes to understand. You will not fully ever understand what somebody else is saying, because everyone has their own path, their own story, their own scars and stickers on life, and how they interpret things because of certain situations. No matter what, you may think of something happened when you were 7 that makes you act a certain way or deal with something a certain way, but someone else would never know that or understand that, because that didn't happen to them when they were 7, or whatever. So they just don't know. And so, it's hard, but at the same time you have to try to see where your partner is coming from when they bring something to you.
At the end of the day, have healthy arguments. It helps. If we didn't argue, if we didn't, fuss sometimes, I wouldn't really probably know how much I love her. Because sometimes when you argue, it shows. Because you got to sleep in a bed with this person that you just had a full-blown argument with. And, I try not to go to sleep mad. Sometimes I do, but I try not to. But when I wake up, sometimes you're like, this is just too much. Boom. Right before I go to bed, it's just too much. And sometimes she say, you know what, let's just drop it. Like, boom. And it's done. But love your mate. Healthy arguments. With family, it's healthy arguments. Love each other. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of dry in these videos because I've had a very long week. And I do want to apologize, but
we are tired. I just went through my last week of
I'll definitely be back.
Okay, but we do have another question, so we'll just answer that in the last video.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.